Paradise, Louisiana, with Gary Risponi and Don Dubuque. Paradise, Louisiana would also like to thank these sponsors.
Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Aerial Access, the leader in aerial work process. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change, Cracker Barrel Convenience Stores, we have more than you expect. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, Farm Bureau Insurance, Louisiana Fish Fry Product, Demco, First South Farm Credit, Area Wholesale Tire Company, with tire programs for tire dealers.
Welcome to this week's edition of Paradise, Louisiana. I guess we call it our Cajun Heritage edition of Paradise, Louisiana. I'm Gary Risponi.
I'm Rad Tresher.
And I'm Don Dubuque, and normally, Rad, when we see you here, somebody's getting ready to win something, but not quite yet, huh?
Well, we're going to give away a lot of prizes with the star, but I'm more here to talk about the redfish that are about to be caught this weekend over at Caminada Pass.
He's talking about Ride the Bull. Gary, I know you headed down to Grand Isle for that one, and it will become the largest kayak tournament ever held in the universe.
In the
universe.
No doubt.
That's
Even on Mars, they beat them people up there.
Yeah, well, Don, we had a pretty busy week last week, and it really started, that's why I call it a Cajun Heritage or Louisiana Outdoor Heritage. I started when Gary Krause and I made a visit with Alan Crochet. He's a wood carver. They call it shadow carving or whatever. He won the Louisiana Historical Society's Lifetime Achievement Award last year. They had a big article about him a couple of weeks ago in the Advocate. And we made that visit. I'm going to bring it to you later, but it started a week off. So we had a visit with Alan Crochet and his wife, Barbara. Then we left, and we was headed down to Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association, and we had a meeting place Friday morning was at the Visitor Center, the Chapel Visitor Center in Butler Rose. So I have never really stopped and went in there, and it's gorgeous. And it's not just for visitors from outside the state, but people that living in this area ought to go visit. It's beautiful. The showcases and the things they got and the animals. People are so nice. They've always got good community coffee in there. So anytime you want to stop, you should stop and go see what that is. And then we like you said, we went on a swamp tour with Louisiana Outdoor Writers. What made it really fun was they had some people there from France, from Paris. And they were in one of the boats, and we went all through the Chapel Isle. I say the Chapel Isle, mostly Henderson in the Fort Osh area, and we've seen tons of birds, and we've seen the woodstock. You know, we just had a big day of woodstock at Sherburne. There were woodstocks there, and we got some good video of that, and we got some pictures. After that trip, you know, yourself, we went down, and we went to Vermilion Village. The tourism down in Lafayette and Vermilion Parish, they put on a feed for us. Cajun band was tremendous, and I had to do a little two-step every now and then, but mostly the food and everything it's a beautiful place to visit. You know, Vermilion Village, it's just so vast, you know. As Don, I thought maybe the Cajun Heritage was over. You know, before I said, that's a big Cajun weekend. Well, the next morning we went to Acadiana Hatchery, fish hatchery, and it's a broad place, and we're going to bring some of that to you later on, but the whole trip, and then you know the rest of it. The rest of it was at the Banquet Award Center. Kids are really coming through. Our heritage is in good shape.
Yeah, we had the Youth Journalist of the Year, those who wrote essays, award-winning essays, and also took some photographs. We had the male and female Hunters of the Year. They got to tell their stories. In fact, you'll hear them tell their stories on this show. We also had 2 Fish of the Year award winners and the internal awards among the writers and broadcasters who belong to the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association.
We got one of the guys work with us, Gary Krause. Won it first year.
Sure did. Congratulations, Gary Krause. We'll talk more about that. Plus, we got some news to cover for you, some tournament results, and also our regular weekly fishing report. So stay with us. We got a busy program on Paradise, Louisiana.
When you're ready to really enjoy life at a slower pace, become a landowner. First South Farm Credit specializes in financing and refinancing land, but not just for farmers. They offer loans to purchase timberland, hunting and fishing, or recreational property. Their experience in land, timber, and loans set them apart from standard lending institutions. Contact a First South Farm Credit Loan Officer for more information. First South Farm Credit, a specialized rural land investment lender helping you realize your dream.
I'm Emily and I'm from Texas, and this is Paradise, Louisiana.
We build tires, but not tires like anybody else. We build Cooper tires for people, not just cars. People who are chauffeurs and shuttle pilots, heavy haulers and heavy hitters. More than what your Cooper tires can do, it's about what you can do with your Cooper tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
Healthcare reform is bringing change.
But one thing that won't change is our commitment to you.
We're Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana.
We're a not-for-profit company, and we work for you.
And whatever changes come our way, you can count on us.
Count on us to pay your claims.
To answer your questions.
To give you the service you deserve.
You can count on us to be there when you need us.
That's our promise to you.
To get more answers on healthcare reform, visit us at bcbsla.com/healthcare reform.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. And Gary, before we got so busy with the weekend at the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association, I got to make a trip down to Buras, did a little bit of what we call island hopping. And this time of the year, it's very effective. You run out past all the marsh areas, headed out towards the islands and some of the rig structures out there. I went with Captain Ross Montet, one of the young and up-and-coming guides with Captain Ryan Lambert. And went out to the first island we stopped at, and a lot of oyster shells out that way. And if you're fishing the oyster reefs off of some of those little grassy islands, you're very likely to pick up some speckled trout this time of the year, which we did. Caught a lot of small trout, some undersized trout, also some nice keepers. But every time we got close to the grass on those islands, that's where we spotted the redfish. Looking for pushes, looking for bait. Actually, it was an overcast day and we got rained on, which has been happening a lot lately along the Louisiana coast. We could still see the redfish, and they were moving along, you know, real tight to the grass, rooting up crabs and other bait in there. Threw pretty much one bait, that black and chartreuse soft plastic on a jig head, and I don't think there's anything that bait will not catch. And ended up with a real nice day, had a couple of bonus flounders. Ross caught a nice one, I caught one. A nice mess of redfish, and some of those would have been perfect for the tournament that was held down there out of Delta Marine and Empire, and a good mess of speckled trout. Had an old high school buddy of mine that came along for the trip, Steve Tenenfeld. You may remember back a couple of years ago, he and I were up there in Tennessee and Arkansas creeping those snow geese. Anyway, we're going to take you there right now. Captain Ross Montet will explain how to locate those places where those fish are this time of the year, how to identify them, and also how to catch those fish when you do find them. Here he is, Captain Ross Montet of Cajun Fishing Adventures. Whoa, there he goes. I'm gonna try to flip him. I don't think I need a net. I don't know if we need to net him or not.
Get it just to be on the safe side.
Yep. All right, we're out here at the islands doing a little bit of island hopping and picking up some speckled trout, and I think we got this red about ready here, Captain Ross.
A little green.
Try that again.
Got a couple more over there.
All right, Captain Ross, I believe he's ready. There we go, pretty redfish. All right, we're out here at the islands just doing a little bit of island hopping, fishing tight up to the grass for redfish, and out on those oyster shells for some speckled trout.
Islands that are broken down, you'll see the points coming off from, and when the points are, there's a fish right there. When you see them points like that, a lot of times with erosion, there's shell pads right on the side of them, and them trout are holding on the back side of the shell pads, getting out of the current, waiting for the easy meal to come over the top of them.
Fish of the day so far. The flipper.
Try that spot a second time.
On low tide situations, I'd stay a good 50 to 100 yards off the island. High tides, you might want to get right on top of them. And fish will hold a little bit closer. And just because of the bait fish trying to get up in the grass to get out of the way to fish from being eaten.
Hold up.
When I'm fishing for redfish like that right there, I'm looking for pushes, and especially right now, our tide situation is low in the morning coming in all day. You look for this broken grass you see here, and if you got a good pair of polarized glasses, you can ease through and sight cast them. And it don't take much. I mean, as you could tell earlier, we just using black and chartreuse with 1/4 ounce jig head.
Okay. Flatfish. Like a red. It is a flounder. Woo!
These flounders, they just come in, they move in and out, and they just starting to come back in, I guess, for the fall right now. And you'll catch you a couple redfish, and as we did, we come back through, and they were sitting there just waiting to ambush on something to come by. And I don't mind picking up them scraps. Typical. Yeah, very typical. Sometimes we get bigger reds in here. Just depends on the time of the year. Bigger bulls actually be chasing trout through here, schooling them around.
Oh. There we go. I don't need a net. I think I can flip him. There we go, another redfish. All right, so the trick is get out here, do some island hopping, simple bait, jig head, soft plastic, and you'll end up with some almondine, some blackened redfish, and some grilled redfish on the half shell.
Ask me about my Tempur-Pedic.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Why not talk to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America?
Ask me about staying asleep.
Tempur-Pedic owners are more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand.
Ask me how it feels after 10 years.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Ask about Tempur-Pedic at Olin's, where you know you always get the guaranteed low price. Olin's is the only store in Baton Rouge and Lafayette with the full line of Tempur-Pedics.
BluefinEyewear.com, most comfortable polarized glasses around. BluefinEyewear.com comes with a lifetime guarantee. Join the Bluefin revolution now at BluefinEyewear.com.
It's time to register for the 2013 CCA Louisiana Star Fishing Tournament. 101 days of fishing and over $500,000 in prizes are up for grabs in over 25 divisions. The Star has something for everyone with offshore, inshore, kayak, fly fishing, ladies only, and youth divisions. And kids fish for free, courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. And those 50 tag redfish are waiting to be caught. 35 weigh stations, 101 days to fish, all for $25 with a CCA membership. For more information, visit CCA.
Come to the family-owned and operated Cassius Casino in Port Allen today, where the Vegas-style video poker machines are ready for your entertainment. Cassius Casino is the finest, cleanest, classiest casino around. And Cassius 50-style diner is now serving seafood daily, along with your favorite home-cooked specials 24/7. Hey, Cassius is fun. Cassius is exciting. So come to the unsinkable Cassius Casino in Port Allen. Over the river 2 miles west of exit 151.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana, and with us this week is Rad Trasher, the director of the CCA Star Tournament. And Rad, before we get to the big exciting Ride the Bull event this weekend, Tell us what's the latest. You giving away any boats or trucks lately?
Not lately. Not since I've been here. 2 weeks ago. But obviously it has been a very active summer in the redfish division, as well as trout and everything else. But you know what I'm here today to tell you is the east side is wide open still. On the east, you only have a 6.9 trout, which is a great fish. I don't want to, belittle it, but I'm gonna tell you, 6.9 has never won the East Division. It's not up to standard in the East for sure. The Fly East, Kayak East, you name it, they are all wide open. So you folks that fish Venice, fish Lake Pontchartrain, get on the water in the next couple weeks and put some fish on the board. The other thing we need to talk about is the kids division. Right now, I've got over 1,000 kids entered, but they still have to take a picture of that fish, that trout or flounder over 14 inches, and email it to me or bring it to a weigh station. Right now in the East, it's a 1 in 30 chance that you would win a boat, motor, and trailer. Now in the West, it's 1 in 100. But the most we have per division is right at 100. So chances are good. I know kids are going back to school. Get them out in the last couple weeks. Get them registered. It's the easiest way to win.
Okay, well, it continues through Labor Day. Where can people get these applications if they want to get signed up?
The easiest way is go to ccastar.com, or you can call our 1-800 number, 877-422-2782, 24 hours a day, or just go to one of the 35 marinas around the state, and they'll be happy to sign you up.
All right, very good. Now, big event coming up this weekend, Ride the Bull down at Grand Isle Bridgeside Marina. How are you involved in that?
CCA has been a sponsor since this event was created a handful of years ago, and y'all, it is growing by leaps and bounds. We're expecting it to be the largest kayak tournament in the country, or as you said, in the universe this year. Right now, as of Monday morning, we have 370-something registrants. All we need to do is get to 400 to beat the record. So if you want, even if you're not going to fish it, if you're going to be in the area, go down to Bridgeside Marina, go down to the bridge at Caminata, and take a look at this. You're going to have 400 kayakers between the bridge at Caminata and the Gulf. We'll have a bunch of boats circling like mine, and those guys are catching bull reds. And as you know, Don, on a kayak, there are no breaks. So it makes for a pretty entertaining afternoon.
There could be some 30 or 40 pounders caught in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, I've been every year, and it was the most astounding thing I've ever seen. I've talked about it every week, to be there and to see them boats that blow that horn and let them go out. It's just a flood of kayaks going out. But, every year, but except for the BP year, that one couple is really the one that really started. They got a lot of volunteers and a lot of good people, Bridgeside Marina. All the people doing this need to be a pat on the back, but what would it be without Danny Ray and Kristen? That's the ones that really pushed this thing, and that was their dream.
Oh, look, Danny and Kristen Ray dreamed this idea up. They came to us, they came to a handful of other people and said, let's try to pull it off. If it wasn't for them, there's no way this event would happen. So special thanks to the Rays. They are a fantastic couple and fantastic tournament organizers. I try to take notes from them every year. But what's even neater about this tournament is we circle with our boats and we bring in those bull red alive. Wildlife and Fisheries, as well as some of our staff, will be there to measure them, tag, and release those fish alive. Last couple of years, we haven't had a single casualty and a whole lot of fish caught.
And it's not too late to get signed up if somebody wants to fish in it?
The easiest way to do it is go to calmwatercharters.net or Google it. All the kayak clubs have posts on it, but calmwatercharters.net. It is $50 up to Thursday. If you register on Friday or the day of the tournament, it'll be $60. That includes a Friday night dinner and a big party. They have a film festival, and then Saturday a fishing in the captain's bag and a lunch. So great time. Like I said, even if you're not going to fish it, head down to Bridgeside Marina. It's a sight to see.
All right, whether you're a participant or a spectator, don't forget, Ride the Bull this weekend, and look for Rad and look for Gary. They'll both be there. We'll be right back with more of Paradise, Louisiana.
Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change has been keeping cars and trucks in Baton Rouge clean and running smooth for over 50 years. At Benny's, we feature professional car washing, complete detailing, high-tech waxing and buffing, interior cleaning, and tire shine. Benny's, one stop for car maintenance with complete oil and lube services and even state inspections at our express locations. Visit one of our 5 convenient locations, including our newest store on Greenwell Springs Road. And don't forget to stop by Be Quick Convenience Store and Fuel Stop. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Drive in dirty, drive out clean.
We build tires, but not tires like anybody else. We build Cooper tires for people, not just cars. People who are chauffeurs and shuttle pilots, heavy haulers and heavy hitters. More than what your Cooper tires can do, it's about what you can do with your Cooper tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. And this past week, Gary, was a big Louisiana Outdoor Rider Association, an organization we're members of, big convention and conference down in Lafayette. But on the way down there, you made some interesting stops.
Oh, yeah, made some interesting stops. And I wasn't too far from Kaisers, right there at Beulah Rose. They got the best hamburger this side of Venice. I mean, this side of Bridgeside, because Bridgeside got the best hamburger po' boy in the world. But look, I knew I always associate things with food. And we're trying to see where the food goes through. When I made that visit inside the visiting center, I had never been in there. I passed there, I met people. You and I go to Beulah Road. We make our woodcock hunts and everything. So once you get there off the interstate, I see these big, beautiful buildings. A lot of times it's closed. They got construction going on, but still, it's easy to get in and out. And somebody needs to visit that. I'm telling you, if you haven't been there, you're going to see it. I'm glad that the State Department of Tourism has brought it back up, and they got people working there. They explain it, the history of it. It's so much Cajun heritage, and it's Chafalot. Chafalot, the largest swamp, the cypress swamp in the world. So it's a great place to visit, a great place to rest and do.
And they have those visitor centers all over the state. So that's not just the only one. That's just one of many.
Right, but the Chafalot, this is the biggest, and like I told you, I haven't visited the other ones in a long time. But it's the first time I've ever visited, and I'm ashamed of myself for not visiting it more. And I'm going to visit it more often so I can spend more time.
I'm proud of the way you made use of your time. So when you left the visitor center, you were still headed south. What was your next stop?
That swamp tour. And we had them people from Paris that were in the boats, and they weren't used to that in that hot sun. They were ready to get into them. But we brought along a lot of water, and we did a lot of riding. And the first warning they gave us was beware of the jumping carp, the silver carp. They are so bad right now in the Henderson area and Beulah Rose area. Anywhere you ride, we've seen them. They try to make them jump. And we sort of got a little caravan, and we'd go around these canals, and all of a sudden they know from the day before where they were at. Tell everybody, get ready, protect yourself. And they would hit. We was in a covered boat, and they kept hitting inside the boat, and we seen them jumping. And you was watching birds, alligators. We got to see alligators up close. They got to see a lot of things. Got to see how beautiful the water is, how fast it went out. So, if you see the fishing report right now, we'll tell you if they were catching fish. We've seen people fishing, catching sac-a-lait. It's just another place to go. Louisiana is blessed with so many places to fish.
Good morning. Welcome to the Chafalot Welcome Center. How may I help you? You're in the middle of the North America's largest river swamp. The Chafalot is 1.2 million acres of swampland. We have the best coffee in the state, and we have a nice little movie on the back on the swamps. It's only 4 minutes. It'll show you all about the swamps.
I remember when I first came to this, I was amazed by what I heard and saw. I was born and raised up near the Mississippi. Then along came the great flood of 27, and it changed life forever. Water swept over the Chafalot swamp up to 40 miles wide. I felt like I was going 70 down in the state.
Have you heard of the flying carp?
Yes.
Yeah. They are horrible.
Yeah, I heard it with the river dropping.
Red low like that. So I want everybody to be very careful of them. In fact, if it keeps up like this, I have to put netting over my boots. We got one guy got hit in the stomach yesterday, knocked the wind out of him. I got hit in the middle of the back a couple of days ago, knocked the wind out of me. But if you keep your arms ready, if you see them coming, just kind of duck. You don't want to be hit and whacked in the face with it, because they can jump.
Regardez ParadiseLouisiana, bienvenue.
first boat. I'm going to wake them up. He's going to get them mad. They're going to jump on y'all, but they're going to jump on us too. But if they get mad, everybody gets started cabin on the third boat.
And then you made a stop at the little Cajun village down there. Really nice place.
No, yeah, the Vermilion Village.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen that. The little white houses, it dismisses Cajun life.
Mm-hmm.
They got workshops in there, but the Cajun Hall, just like the old Cajun dance hall where the Cajun people would get together and they play the fiddle and play the accordion and everybody would dance and they have food and drink and the kids were always there. You know, when I first started dating my wife and would go with their family to Cajun, the babies, they didn't have babysitters. They were sitting there on the table in their bassinets or whatever, and they were there almost all night with that Cajun music going in. I guess that's where that rhythm comes in. If you can hear that music and not want to get up and dance, there's something wrong with you. And outside activity really got interesting. The next day, we went to the Acadiana Fish Hatchery. And Mr. Broussard did a great job. He was so knowledgeable in how long he's doing that. And he's leaving that heritage to his son and his daughter-in-law, so they'll be taking over pretty soon. He's talking about retirement. But how they raised those brim and how they raise the bass and how they use bass, and it's a fish club. It's pretty good fish club, but they got boats, and I guess through cameramans you could see they got little pontoon boats so they can fish sac-a-lait, they can fish bass, brim, whatever they want. These clubs over there, and they belong to the club, and they can fish whenever they want. It's not that steep. It's $2,500 a year, but they guys can go there, and the boats are still there, and they go fishing.
And now, do they have regular tours where people can come by, or if you're interested in the membership, you can check it out? How do you get to it?
It's almost to it. You can get to it. It's in Maurice, Louisiana, and you can see it. They got a website. I tell you what, let's do. Let's make a tour. We'll let Chris do his work because he was there with us, and he knows what we want to see. And see, it's a beautiful place. And besides that, we got a surprise. He has some sausage. He has some Amanda sausage, some resource sausage. They cooked that, and they had a ham on the grill. And we had a little snack while we was there.
All right, when we come back from there, we'll take you to day 2 of Louisiana Outdoor Writer Association Conference at the Holiday Inn in Lafayette, Awards Night. We'll be right back. You're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
I'm Chris Broussard. I'm one of the owners. My wife is the other, and my son is the other. And we started building the farm back in 1989, so we have a lot of things that we can talk about. If you stock your sac-a-lait after your brim are established, you're okay with that. Because what happens if you stock in the fall, your sac-a-lait is going to be the first thing that spawns in that pond, and they'll take over. And we've learned that if I make the people wait at least a year, or at least after I know my brim has spawned, then they can introduce a 200 sac-a-lait per acre. None of those have had problems.
fish.
Let me tell you a little bit about the place from here. We tried to design something for everybody. On the left side, we got 5 different ponds, which is easy fishing. I mainly put the hybrid brim in there, so they'll bite just about all day long. Now, what we do is we high intensity in the children's ponds, because those children, you got to compete with that computer. Computer is instant. If you don't get an instant catch, they're not interested. So what we did was we have 2 ponds that are really high intensity for the kids, and I got 3 that are pretty high intensity for the adults on the left side.
Aerial Access Equipment has been serving Louisiana, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and southeast Texas since 1998. Our trained sales staff has the expertise necessary to ensure our customers get the right piece of equipment for the job at competitive rental rates. Need help with choosing the right machine for the job? We'll come to your job site and recommend the right machine to meet your needs. Remember, quality, reliability, safety. Aerial Access Equipment, your aerial work platform and forklift specialist.
John here. Welcome to my kitchen. On those hot summer days, there isn't anything better than a cool tuna fish salad. One of the best ones around is made with Louisiana remoulade dressing. Make sure you add in your chopped celery, your chopped onion, your relish, chopped egg, your mayo, and remoulade. And we add all that to 7 to 9 ounces of tuna fish. And you will end up with a cool remoulade tuna fish salad. Look for the recipe at ParadiseLouisiana.com. Try it today. It's wonderful.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana, and last weekend in Lafayette was a big weekend for all the people who share our profession, the writers, the broadcasters, the bloggers, the photographers in the state of Louisiana. We all got together, and there was a purpose there. A lot of things went on. One of those purposes is to get story material, and we had some very special guests who joined us. Jeff Main was introduced, who recently took over from Winton Vadrine as the head of the Enforcement Division of Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. Also, we had a special guest, Camp Matins. Now, you know Camp from...
Camp Matins, a long-time guy. He's got a guy, he's big and everything. You see him in Hunters Run. He's big in Ducks Unlimited, CCA, and he's on the Gulf Council.
And he was talking about some of the issues with dealing with red snapper, and everybody was glued and held on to every word he said. We also heard from Randy Pacino, who kind of talked about the same thing, about the move, some things we've talked about on this show, moving to regionalization of management of some of the offshore species and what the future may hold. He got pretty frank, too, and talked about basically the feds and what's wrong with those people there as opposed to the state managers. Very, very interesting presentation. And then finally, we heard an excellent presentation from Larry Reynolds. I believe you got back in time to catch that. Yeah. He explained all about the hunter survey for the waterfowl, how he arrived at making those recommended seasons, and why the commission chose.
You know, a lot of people don't give him credit. You look at that extra wood duck, and you look at that them 2 extra teal you get this year. You bow your head and say, thank you, Larry Reynolds and the rest of the guys in Wildlife and Fisheries, because without all the surveys they do and without all they're doing, they won't happen.
All right, there was a short break following the presentations, and then the highlight of the weekend is the banquet, the awards banquet, and that started off with making some presentations to 2 gentlemen who caught some outstanding fish in 2012, and we give them the Fish of the Year awards, and you were there and saw those.
Elliott Seller, 251-pound yellowfin tuna. Yeah. You know, when you had me, my first tuna, it was about 60 pounds, and I thought it was a monster. I thought it was a whale. Huh? Yeah, I can imagine 251-pound yellowfin tuna. And Chip Metz had a good story to tell. He was listening to you talk about him on the radio, so he caught it up doing this thing and stayed there a little while. He was very entertaining. Pretty big flounder for a fly rod, too.
Yeah, a little over 4 pounds. Yeah. And, you know, of course, our Fish of the Year awards rules say that you have to be the angler that's only one that touches that rod. Yeah. So congratulations to Elliott Sale, 251 pounds. That was a solo effort to get that fish in. It wasn't 4 or 5 guys passing the rod around.
That's right.
So outstanding. And it's something we do. We can continue to maintain the fish records, the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association, and each year we make selections on what we think are the best of the best. That was followed by, on something very near and dear to your heart and ours too, is the youth journalism competition, where students are invited to write essays about outdoor experiences and take photographs.
This was Joe's first time to handle all of it, Joe Mack.
Yep.
And he was just so astounded.
We've all blown away by some of the work that those kids do.
It's just amazing. And Joe did a great job, too, of telling the story himself. He kept it entertaining over there, but to see these kids get their prizes in their eyes, the older ones, all right. We had 2 little girls, they were just beyond themselves. And then when the drawings were coming up, they were still excited. But to see some of these photos that they're taking, too, they give in some precarious situations.
Yep. And some real creativity and some humor was involved in there, and some of that writing in the abstract, which is a very difficult way or format of writing to master, and it was done excellent. And I think this year might have been some of the best entries we've had ever since we've been having that contest.
But some of the older people, John Flores again made his normal 15 trips up there, it seemed like, and some of our friends out there, Goose Geis and Lyle, some of these people that do it every year. Mr. Glenn Harris, every year is on there. Gary Krause did it. John Jackson made it back. Can you believe that? John Jackson, and the story he did on Wendy.
Another series of awards that we've presented, and I want to take a minute, though, to thank those sponsors. Without Craig Epling, GMC, what a job he does. And, of course, Mr. Ron and Jackie Bartels of Safari Club International. They do this not because they want to get publicity in return, but because they believe that the youth is certainly the future. And you can look at them while those kids are getting their awards and prizes, and you can tell there's a lot of satisfaction.
You see all the prizes that were given away, the guns and bow and arrows, fishing rods. Pure Fishing is there every year, one of our sponsors. Berkeley Garcia, Louisiana Fish Fry.
The last set of awards we're going to talk about is the Hunters of the Year Award for the youths. They give one for the male and for the female. They go out and they make a hunt. They come back and they tell the story of their experience. And I got to tell you, there were really 2 moving stories. One was 11-year-old Chloe Slater from Pineville, Louisiana. And you're going to hear her tell the whole story herself on this tremendous deer that she took. Just an incredible story. And the other story had a little bit of a twist to it. I'm talking about Brandon Fryer of Ola, Louisiana. He and I believe it was his uncle started out on an everyday duck hunting trip that turned out to be the adventure and excitement of a lifetime, and actually turned into a heroic effort. And he'll tell you his story, too.
Yeah, and that's a good story. But one thing I noticed, besides Cheryl Macalusa winning her usual gun, was the table that Chloe and her family was sitting at. About 10 of the drawings went to that table.
I think she's a lucky young lady.
They should have left and went to the casino.
Yeah, maybe that had something to do with her getting that beautiful deer that she got, that big 14-pointer too. Well, anyway, let's hear their stories in their own words. Our Youth Hunters of the Year Male and Female Award winners.
Well, it was January 12th, 2013, and I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got there at 5, and I killed this deer at Red River, and at Louisiana Sportsman. And, the first thing that we did is we went inside the room, where we all picked our stands out of a hat, and I got number 1. And so when we went to go outside to get all of our stuff, one of the hunting agents said that was a very good stand and that he wishes us luck. And so he drove us to our truck, and we got all of our stuff and got our backpacks ready. And then he drove us, in his Ranger, he drove us to our stand. And so I got in there, and so we all got in there, and I started pulling out my game, and I started playing on it. And there was a bunch of frogs, so I couldn't really hear anything but them. It was really, really loud. And so my dad told me that they would eventually go away when it turned daylight. And so it turned daylight and they went away. And so then I took a nap, and then I woke up, and then my dad told me not to move because he saw a deer. And so I just got down on his lap, and I just stood there. And then he said, okay, you can get back up. It went away. And then he saw it for just a split second. And so I pulled my game back out, and I started playing it again. And then he told me to turn my game off and get the gun. So I turned it off, I got the gun, and he told me to poke it out the window, but very slowly. And so I was like moving like so slowly. I was so scared. And so he told me that there was a buck all the way out there. And I told him, I see it. And so I looked through the scope, and he told me, wait until it turns around to where you can shoot the shoulder. And then I told him, I said, Dad, I can see the shoulder. I think I can shoot it. And he said, Chloe, I don't think you can. And so, Dad, I can see it, because I was trying to rush because it was walking away. And so he said, okay, whatever, you can go ahead and shoot it. And so I pulled the trigger, and right when I shot it, it dropped exactly where it was in its track. And so I said, Dad, I got it. And so we ran out there, and he said, Chloe, you have no idea what you've just done. And then I said, you're right, I don't. And he was like shaking. He was shaking more than I was. And he was like, oh my gosh, I got to call the people. I got to call them. And I was like, Dad, how many points is this? And then he said, Chloe, hang on. And so he was talking on the phone. I was like, Dad, how many points is this? And he said, I don't know, probably like 16, 14. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so the people came here, and they started taking pictures and everything. And so we got the deer, and we went to go see how many points it was and weigh it and all that stuff. And it weighed 172 pounds. It was 2.5 years old. It has 14 scoreable points, but it's 16 altogether. And so it was really, really hot. And so we didn't stay the whole day because we had this deer, and we didn't want it to just like lose all of its hair and all that stuff. And so we went home, and then my brother was really mad at me because he told me not to kill anything over a 7-point, but I killed a 16-point.
It was just a regular hunt. We had put our decoys out, set the blind up. I had just opened my bag, poured me some hot chocolate, and I was just drinking that hot chocolate, and I heard something far down to our left. And I was just wondering. I said, Uncle Alan, what's that noise? He said, I don't hear anything. I listened there for a few minutes, and it got louder, and it sounded like somebody panicking. So we eased down. We untied the boat and dropped the blind. We headed down there, and we could see a light shining through the woods. So we went towards that light, and we could understand what they were saying. They were calling for help. And we couldn't get there, so we had to come back out and go around. Whenever we finally got there, we saw one man up in a tree holding on some vines, and we saw another man trying to hold his son out of the water. And they were both hanging on to a little tree. So we got as close as we could to them, and then they grabbed on the side of the boat, but the boy couldn't pull himself up in the boat. So I grabbed him by the arms and the back of the waders, and I tried to pull him, and he pulled himself, and he got up on the edge of the boat, and I just rolled him over in the boat. And then the man's father, he was exhausted trying to hold his son out of the water, and he got on the boat, and it took me and my Uncle Alan to both of us to pull him in the boat. And we backed up and got the other man in the tree that was out of the water, and it was 28 degrees, it was freezing cold, ice on the boat, and they was about a half mile from the bank. And this was in water that was 15 foot deep. So it was, their waders were full, and if we wasn't there, I believe they would have drowned or got hypothermia. And we headed towards the bank, relatively where we thought the bank was, and I found a piece of flagging, and we followed a little boat trail, and we made it to the bank. It was about a half a mile, and we took them their four-wheeler. We threw all their stuff on their trailer, and they took off their waders, and they headed back to their truck. And when we were on our way back out to our hunting hole, we found their blind bag, like a black bag with their shells and stuff. And I opened it up, and I dried it out and everything, and we took it back to them about a week later. And what I believe happened, they were in a small boat, just 3 of them, and they had heavy decoys. I believe they overloaded their boat, and it just sunk on them. But that hunt, we didn't kill very many ducks that day. Killed a few, but it's a hunt I'll never forget.
Come to the family-owned and operated Cassius Casino in Port Allen today, where the Vegas-style video poker machines are ready for your entertainment. Cassius Casino is the finest, cleanest, classiest casino around. And Cassius 50-style diner is now serving seafood daily, along with your favorite home-cooked specials 24/7. Hey, Cassius is fun. Cassius is exciting. So come to the unsinkable Cassius Casino in Port Allen. Over the river 2 miles west of exit 151.
Of all the tools in your house, this could easily be the most dangerous, but it doesn't have to be. At Dimco, we can't stress this enough. Just keep it, and you, far away from power lines.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. And Gary, we've got a really proud announcement to make about some of our charter captains. You know, Louisiana Saltwater Sportsman magazine selected the top 50 charter captains in the entire country. 3 of our Louisiana captains made that list, and you know them all. I'm talking about Captain Peace Marvel, Captain Mike Frenette, and none other than Captain Tofield Bourgeois. 3 of the top 50 fishing guides in the entire country. That's some pretty good company.
Didn't know all about it. That is a great one. And then we got some that push them too. We got some young ones coming up right now.
That's exactly
that'll
right.
be pushing. So we ought to be in the news for a good while.
Quite an honor. Also, we had the results of the Louisiana Saltwater Series. Boy, a couple of hot-handed guys. Nash Roberts and Luke Landry won. It's either their 3rd or 4th tournament. They'll be qualifying for the mid-October championship down in Venice, Louisiana. I know your buddy, Captain Steve Smith, he's on a roll too. They came in.
Yeah, right now, they came in 2nd, but right now, at the end of the year, they're the #1 standing right now, him and his family, Garrison. And that little boy that fishes with him, Garrison, also won again. You know, it's the top tier. So Drake is a tremendous guy. Tremendous little fisherman. Had a 7-pound something fish. So it's a big.
We'll run some of the results on the screen for you. Or you can go to lasaltwaterseries.com. Not only get the final results, but also all the rules. And if you're interested in getting signed up, I'm sure they'll be coming back with another one next year. They are having a special Louisiana Saltwater Series tarpon tournament out of Venice Marina. That'll be coming up on August 24th and 25th.
Look, when we come back, I'm going to tell you about a sac-a-lait tournament. We'll do that in the fishing report. But let me tell you what, we got so many things coming up this weekend. I do want to mention the Bluebonnet Swamp. They got the Louisiana Waterfowl Heritage, the wood carvers, and that's August 17th. Also, our Rabbit Hunter Association, the Bayou State Rabbit Hunters, got their banquet at the Scott Center in New Roads. By the way, they went over 1,000 members. They started out with 100 or 200 people meeting, and now
didn't know so many people hated rabbits.
Rabbits, or like that rabbit spaghetti.
That's right.
No, but it's amazing. So we want to tell y'all, you can still, even if you're not a member, you can go to good place to join. It'll be at Scott, and in New Roads, the Scott Civic Center over there in New Roads. So on the 24th, there's Green Wing Day. It's going to be at Georgia Pacific over there, and at the Green Wing Day, it's an all-day affair. Got food and everything else. Don't forget about it. Duck Festival on that same weekend. Not only the Duck Festival, the rides and the dog trials, the skeet shooting, everything you want, a parade, beauty pageant, dance, the bands every night. And then Sunday, the big deal, the Goose and Duck Calling Championships, just around the corner the following week. I can't see nothing else dying right now, but we'll come back with a fishing report. I want to talk to you about sac-a-lait.
All right, and also get a good little first-hand fishing report from one of our photographers, Gary Krause, fishing in the basin.
I did remember the Rocky Mountain, the 12th annual Rocky Mountain chapter of the Elk Foundation. Their banquet is in there, so look at it up in the plaza.
All right, all you elk hunters, get it on your calendar. We'll be right back.
Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood. Because we're based in Louisiana, with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change has been keeping cars and trucks in Baton Rouge clean and running smooth for over 50 years. At Benny's, we feature professional car washing, complete detailing, high-tech waxing and buffing, interior cleaning, and tire shine. Benny's, one stop for car maintenance with complete oil and lube services and even state inspections at our express locations. Visit one of our 5 convenient locations, including our newest store on Greenwell Springs Road. And don't forget to stop by Be Quick Convenience Store and Fuel Stop. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Drive in dirty, drive out clean.
These engines run for thousands of hours to prove.
We did. With 20% more cleaning agents than before, Shell nitrogen-enriched gasoline.
No, the gasoline protects your engine better!
Awkward. Try Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines.
No other gasoline protects your engine better.
Visit Cracker Barrel convenience stores before heading fishing or hunting. We have more than you expect.
Welcome to the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report, and we're starting off with the Atchafalaya Basin. And Gary, tell us about your report.
It's fish. It is time to
huh?
get away from the coast, take a break, and get in the Atchafalaya. Somebody pull the plug. The water's falling so fast. But I will say this: every 2 to 3 days, start looking in a different area, because that black water's come out of the woods, and as it moves down through the spillway, you're going to find good water in some places. Go back 2 or 3 days later, and you'll have to find something else.
You had a good day fishing by yourself. Tell us about your trip. That's what I want to know, and you're going to have to give away some of them secrets.
Well, I mean, Cliff Crochet said it on the show a couple weeks ago. Start out early morning with a frog. Top water bite is on. You can still fish around the mouth of some of the drains, but it's more on the points. The fish are moving. The water's getting hot now that it's down low. So don't fish right on the bank. Fish off the bank right before it drops off into the channels, because that's where they're going to be when the water gets really hot. That's where the current's going to be. That's where the bait's going to be. You have to fish a little bit deeper. Anything you want to throw right now, you can catch fish on it.
Well, Gary, the basin's not the only place hot. You got a bunch of reports called in this week.
Well, yeah, we got a bait, but like I said, one of the reports I got come from James Sexton. He was fishing the spillway, but the water's falling out so fast, he said he's going to go to some of his old haunts, like he's going to go to Ruddock. Also, he was talking about he had just got through fishing the Red River Wildlife Management Area. A lot of people fished those areas, and but when he did it, the water had not fallen out all the way, and he went down this gravel road. And a lot of people don't know about it, but you can fish in there. And he must have caught 43 bass one day. He started off the same way he started in the spillway. He started off with buzz baits, and then went to top water, top oars, and working that bait in there and catching a lot of small fish. Didn't catch any big ones, but had a great time. So thank you for that report, James, but I want to find out more about Rudolph.
You want to hear something on Sac-A-Lake?
Yeah.
How about fish a little bit deeper, the same place you're fishing for the bass? Sac-A-Lake are about 4 foot deep. Fish under a carp, 18 inches, 2 foot deep. Sac-A-Lake are going to be looking up. They'll come up out of that water and get that jig.
Well, let me tell you about the Sac-A-Lake too. They had the Glen Automotive Sac-A-Lake tournament, and it was another tournament. They got another one coming up be later. Don't know where they were fishing, but I would guess they fished in the spillway. And if, the next time, Kenneth, when you send me something, just let me know. You know, Kenneth Badron and Jerome Chambers, they had 7 pounds, 2 out of 5 fish, 7 pounds, 0.2 ounces. Then second place winners were Cedric Williams and Larry Poole. Their weight was 6.38 pounds. And the third ones, our good old buddies, Leonard Kleinpeter and David Pistolata, were third with 6.02 pounds. The big fish was the number one team, Kenneth and Jerome. Their big fish was 1.58. So that's it. That's the Sac-A-Lake tournament.
All right. Saltwater, very simple. If you're looking for speckled trout, you got to go long. Go out to the rigs out in Black Bay. Maybe go do some of that island hopping like we showed you early in the show. But you got to go out. There are a lot of indications that the speckled trout have already started their transition to the inside. So from here on out, expect it to get tougher and tougher as those fish are not going to be ganged up in one spot. They're going to be stretched all the way from the outer coastal bays all the way to the interior marshes, especially those deep water areas. As far as redfish, the entire coast is crawling with those big bulls, and we're expecting a big turnout at the Ride the Bull. I'm sure we'll have a lot more information and some good video for you if you're into bull red fishing.
Well, that's it. I'm going to go back freshwater one more time because you can't leave Toledo Bend out for nothing right now. Toledo Bend is hot as it can be. Jim Benz, a good friend of ours, was there. They took his grandson Drake. They caught about 9 on top, and then they went to fishing different kind of worms. I'll tell you about the Red River again. Midway Marina still sending me pictures, Sacker Lake, catfish, bass, everything coming. Midway Marina, go check them out too, by the way. The guys are very hospitable, good food, got everything you need right there in the middle of the lake. You can go fish pool 3, 4, anywhere you want in that area.
All right. Send those pictures and reports in to Gary at ParadiseLouisiana.com. Don't forget ParadiseLouisiana.com. Got some new merchandise, some hats and shirts and other memorabilia and some items for you to look at. And we'll see you again next week right here in this place we call Paradise, Paradise, Louisiana.
Paradise, Louisiana, with Gary Risponi and Don Dubuque. Paradise, Louisiana would also like to thank these sponsors.
Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Aerial Access, the leader in aerial work process. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Cracker Barrel Convenience Stores. We have more than you expect. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana. Farm Bureau Insurance. Louisiana Fish Fry Products. Gemco. First South Farm Credit. Area Wholesale Tire Company. With tire programs for tire dealers.